Every championship level team has it. A sense of foreboding, a sense of inevitability. And on Saturday night, the Magic found theirs today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is November 23rd, 2025. My name is Phil Prosper-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic find their inevitability. They find their turning point. They find that certain something that every championship team needs. How the Magic turned a close game into a blowout and a runaway their way. Plus, how the Magic continue to find people to step up. Another key championship trade. A big win over the New York Knicks on Saturday. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our Orlando Magic dailies. That means that you listen 5 days a week. That means you're listening to special episodes like this one on the weekend. That means we're part of your daily podcast rotation. That means we are your first listen of the day. Thank you again for being part of the Locked On Magic community. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. It's all part of Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. You may be sitting here thinking like, whoa, Phil, you are way premature to be talking about championship traits, about a team being more than what you think it is. You're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, Philip, don't overreact to a win over an undermanned New York Knicks team, a team playing without OG Anunoby, a team that has struggled on the road, a team that lost Landry Shamet, one of their starters, very early in the game. And you're right. I'm not here to say that the New York Knicks that the Magic beat tonight or the New York Knicks team that the Magic beat 10 days ago in Madison Square Garden, that is the team the Magic could potentially face in a playoff series, in a second round playoff series, in an Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, the Magic have guaranteed themselves a series win over a key Eastern Conference rival. Asterisk, because, we may get another game against the Knicks here in Orlando, depending on what happens in the NBA Cup. We could easily sit here and say, oh, this part has been delivered, or this is a good win. It's a nice win, but it's one that ultimately doesn't matter or doesn't carry the weight that we need it to carry. But I will remind you, the Magic gave us these expectations. The Magic said we are a championship level team. We are a team that aspires and believes that they can win a title here in the next few years, if not this season. The Magic have not hidden from that goal, and they have taken steps to do that. And so when I watch these games and I watch this team play and I watch this team win a game like this, I ask myself, what are the traits that put the Magic in that stratosphere, especially going up against a Knicks team that pretty much everyone agrees and considers a potential Eastern Conference champion, if not the favorites to win the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, again, long way to go this season. A lot of things can happen. Teams aren't what they thought they would be. The Magic are quickly becoming that kind of team. And the one thing that I know about that, or the one thing that feels very real about the way the Magic played in this game, and what the Magic showed us Saturday night at the Kia Center, is the Magic showed us they're capable of putting together a quick run. Not just a quick run, a winning run, a killing run. In a close game where they are struggling to kind of find their defense, but still scrapping and finding a way to stay competitive, to stay in the game, to find a way to win. In an instant, the Magic went from a close game that was nip and tuck, that felt like this. It felt like from the second quarter on, pretty much from the first quarter on, after the Magic erased an early 10-point deficit, it felt like, oh, this is going to go down to the wire. And this is just going to be a game where we're like, well, the Magic are going to make their shots or going to miss their shots. New York was hitting their shots. Orlando took a little while to get themselves going get themselves going from outside the arc. They're getting to the line. They're staying in the game. But I was like, okay, these are two teams that aren't going to separate from each other. These are two teams that are going to have to scrap and claw. And we're going to be breaking down a game that's either going to be a hard-fought loss that was like, okay, well, you lost a close game against a good team. No big deal. It's, you're bound to get got at some point. Or a nice win that's just like, well, the Magic made the plays down the stretch. And look, you're going to have to win those games too. But this is how this game was different. Because the Magic were up by 4 early in the fourth quarter, when suddenly the game completely flipped. And it happened so fast, I don't even think the Knicks realized it happened to them. A 13-0 run over the course of about 2 minutes ended this game. It was over. No more comebacks, no more getting back in the game. The Magic just kind of put the hammer down in an instant. It started with a Franz Wagner shot over Mitchell Robinson. Just a turnaround, got him off of him, spun around, hit a fadeaway. Then Franz got a 3. Suddenly a 4-point lead was 9, or a 5-point lead was 10. Then Jalen Suggs hit a 3. And then the Magic did what they do. They caused a little chaos. Tristan da Silva deflected a pass in the backcourt. The Knicks were a little disorganized coming across the midcourt line. Anthony Black is trailing Josh Hart. He knocks the ball away. Jalen Suggs is trailing the play, is involved in it, gets to the ball first. Josh Hart grabs him by his throat, unintentionally, but grabs him and kind of throws him down as they're both diving for the ball. That's a technical foul. And all of a sudden, Orlando has a 14, 15-point lead and caps it off with Jalen Suggs with a 2-handed dunk. All the while, the Kia Center crowd is into the game, and Jalen Suggs does his part to get them involved and get them excited and get them engaged with the game. And again, a game that was a 4-point game, a game that was nip and tuck, a game that had every reason for everyone to believe, like, okay, these are two equal teams on this night preparing to go down to the wire, to make this about late game execution and shot making, which would, as good as Franz Wagner is, would obviously favor Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. Instead, in 2 minutes, snap, it was done. In 2 minutes, the game was over. A 17-point lead, as big as an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Knicks were staggered. The Knicks, a really good team, a team that we respect a ton. Let's start friends at Locked On Knicks for their perspective on this game. A team that the Magic are aspiring to be in that class, to be in those conversations, to be that kind of team that you're just constantly worried about a single player. Whatever we want to call it. And if this happens again, we're going to have to come up with a name for it. But whatever you want to call it, this is the Magic's version of the Cavalanche. This is what the great teams do. You don't want to scuttle around, and I don't think the Magic were scuttling around. I think they played really well, and New York made some shots, and it took them a while to kind of find their defense. But you kind of go at a baseline for an entire game, and then in an instant, it changes. The door opens, and your intensity is greater than the other team. And you have that little source of fear. I mentioned the Cavalanche. Whenever you play the Cavs, you are worried about that 2 to 3 minute stretch when they don't miss, and suddenly a 2-point game is a 15-point game. When you play the Thunder, you're worried about them being able to just stampede you in an instant. The Nuggets, same deal. Their offensive efficiency is so great. You're always constantly worried. We just played the Golden State Warriors earlier this week. Even when you're up double digits late in the game, you're worried that Stephen Curry's going to go off. And maybe that one's a little more superstar based than team based. But every great team elicits that little bit of fear, that little bit of doubt, that little bit of it's coming at any time. That hopefully forces you to be more focused, but can also be the thing that ends you, the thing that allows the rush to come. The Magic put that rush on the Knicks. The Magic put that on them in a way that this team hasn't done very often. And yet, it felt so familiar. Yes, the Magic made shots, and that's the basis of all this. The Magic just made a lot of shots in a row. But so much of it was a growth of their defense and the energy and hustle that Jalen Suggs brings, that Anthony Black brings, that just devastated the New York Knicks. The Magic have shown us they can do it. And that means they are one step closer to being considered true title contenders. It wasn't just about that one run, though. It is about something intrinsic and something really important about this Orlando Magic team, how the buy committee approach and the team's culture helped them get the win. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in, to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits save you hours every week. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right. 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time. That's gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner. Literally, I could see the holiday season like on the horizon. It's like a big, I don't know, dark cloud coming on Friday. I don't know. And that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. If you're looking to host this holiday season and get an upgrade to your furniture, to your kitchenware, to really anything in your home, Wayfair has you covered. And it's going to ship incredibly fast just in time for the holidays. If you've ever hosted family for the holidays, you know how much difference a few new touches can make. Wayfair makes that easy. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. We want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We want to thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. There's obviously that one big moment. And like, honestly, like watching the game, it really, 2 minutes, scoring 13 points in 2 minutes is just insane. And you know, there's a lot of fun stats coming out of this game. The biggest one is that the Magic have now scored 30-plus points in 8 consecutive quarters, tying the Magic franchise record, or setting it for Magic. It is a Magic franchise record, whether it's tying or setting it. This team is scoring a lot of points right now. Like, if you would have told me the Magic would score 133 points in a game, I would have said that's crazy. That would be great if the Magic offense functioned at that high of a level. And let's go look at the exact. I haven't looked at the advanced stats yet, so here we go. For the entire game, if it'll load, for the entire game, the Magic had an offensive rating of 133 points per 100 possessions. Gave up 119.8. We'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit, but this team was scoring and this team was getting stops. This team wasn't getting stops, but they were scoring. The Knicks were not getting stops either. And, one of the key traits, or one of the things that this team aspires to be, is to be quote unquote by committee. Now, look, I think that's Jamahl Mosley's way of reminding guys to share the ball, of reminding guys that, hey, just because it's not your night doesn't mean you're not going to have your night. It doesn't mean that you aren't contributing, even if the ball is not coming to you. It's about keeping everybody prepared and keeping everybody ready to contribute and to make something happen when the ball comes to you, to be prepared. It's still about, you're still going to need your stars, and your stars need to carry a heavy weight. And Franz Wagner went point for point with Jalen Brunson throughout the game. He had both of them had 23 points at the half. Franz was 13 for 19 from the floor. The Magic don't win this game without Franz Wagner being absolutely brilliant. But what was really key about this game was that everybody who was called upon stepped up at a key moment. Yes, Franz did his thing. Yes, Desmond Bane did his thing and scored a lot of points in the fourth quarter. He had 7 of his 27 points in the fourth quarter to help kind of pace the Magic. And really, Desmond Bane did not score during that 13-0 run. All of his points came to help maintain distance and keep the Knicks at bay after they got staggered by that run. Because again, that run happened. There's about 5 minutes left when it ended. 6-7 minutes left when there's 5-6 minutes left when it ended. Magic still had to keep them at bay. And, Knicks couldn't get stops. They couldn't stop the Magic at all. There's just so much confidence on the floor. It was Jalen Suggs doing the Jalen Suggs things that he does. Just constant energy, constant bothering of the opponent. But it was also a lot of other things. It was Anthony Black off the bench with 11 points in 29 minutes. It was Jonathan Isaac scoring 6 points, 7 rebounds, making major contributions on that end. Goga Bitadze had 6 points and 7 rebounds. He had to step in with Wendell Carter in foul trouble, ultimately fouling out in the fourth quarter. It was Orlando coming together to get 11 offensive rebounds against New York City to beat one of the best offensive rebound teams in the league at their own game. Orlando won second chance points 18-60. They won points in the paint 64-46. It was even, frankly, Joe Prunty stepping in for Jamahl Mosley. And I'm not bearing the lead here, 18 minutes in the show. Jamahl Mosley did not coach the second half of this game. He said after the game that he was feeling lightheaded and dizzy on the floor, especially after he kind of got a technical foul for shouting at one of the referees. Rare technical foul, just his second of the season. But he said he was feeling lightheaded, dizzy. He did not come back out. And Joe Prunty coached the game. Even the coaches are stepping up for each other. Even the coaches are out there supporting each other. And that's kind of the ethos the Magic are always going for. That's kind of the ethos that this team is trying to build itself on. They're trying to be a team that lifts each other up. And look, they're down Paolo Banchero. They're down one of their most important players. They're down a key figure in their ecosystem right now. And while the team is playing well, they miss him. They do. Like we'll talk about this a little bit later this week. I think it's becoming a little bit of a thing. And Paolo's out Sunday, so it's not going to go steal. They miss him. They do. But this is what this team has been built on over the last several years is, okay, we're going to be down some guys. Okay, no big deal. We will step up. We will help each other. We will lift each other up. And as much as anything, that is a huge championship trait too. That is something championship teams do. Detroit's doing it right now with Jaden Ivey out, with all the injuries they've had. All the great teams Yeah, they're not as good when they miss key players, but they find a way. And again, like the Knicks are down guys too. Like there's no excuses in this league. You play with the roster you have. You got to be good enough with the roster you have. The Magic are finding a way to be good enough with what they have. And when they need it, everybody steps up. That's key. And again, like I'm trying to point at these things to say, this is a sign that this team is different. That this team is what they told us they would be. That this team is what they're trying to aspire to be. Have the traits of what they're aspiring to be. Playing to a standard, that's what championship teams do. Having these devastating, killing blow runs, that's what great teams do. They're good. They're elite. They could be elite for just long enough to win the game. And like, look, there are going to be challenges ahead, and you're not going to be able to get away with that. Maybe against great team, against even better teams. This team, for as hard as they played, dropped the game to Houston. That's a very good team. There's precious few championship level teams to truly test yourself against. And again, that's why playing this Knicks team, for whatever you want to say about where the Knicks are right now, the Knicks are kind of a measuring stick team. And the Magic now have beat them twice and beat them in very similar ways. Bothering them with their physicality, shooting the ball well, attacking their defense, attacking their mismatches. The Magic have found a formula. And again, like Friday's going to be another one of those tests against Detroit. We're already looking ahead to essentially the Group B championship game. We'll do NBA Cup scenarios a little bit later this week. We'll probably do it Monday. But Friday's a big game. Friday's a very, very big game. Like, get your stuffing, get your turkey, eat up on Thursday. Friday, be locked in. It's going to be a big game Friday night in Detroit. But this is what good teams do. They step up together. And that's what the Magic showed us Saturday night, in addition to so many other things. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Magic beat the best version of the Knicks. They didn't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this was some statement game, although our friends at Locked On NBA did. And you can get the national perspective on what this game means to the national perspective. This wasn't a statement game in that sense to me. Like, they didn't tell the world, like, we're here, be ready for us. But this was a major character win. And this was a major win where the Magic continue to gain confidence and cement their identity. The Magic stepped up on Saturday and scored a really nice win. And we'll see how they build on that because they got to play again Sunday. As we always do, we'll go through the box score. Let's talk about individual performances in this win. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Little fun fact for you all. Fun fact of the day. The Orlando Magic were underdogs in this game against the Knicks. They were 1.5 point underdogs. The Orlando Magic are currently 4-0 against the spread when they are the underdog. They're actually 3-1 straight up. They beat the Knicks. They beat the Warriors. They beat the Knicks again. The only straight up loss was to the Rockets. They did win that against the spread. And once again, the Orlando Magic are underdogs Sunday as they take on a very difficult back-to-back, traveling to Boston for a 6 o'clock tip-off against the Boston Celtics. You could get Magic plus 4.5. And I guess we're an over team now. An over-under of 220.5. Over-under of 220.5. Magic underdogs by 4.5 points. Just saying, Orlando's 4-0 against the spread as underdogs this season. Just something to think about. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The Orlando Magic defeat the New York Knicks 133-121. Let's go through the box score and talk a little bit about what we saw from individual performances. We got to start with Franz Wagner. I probably haven't talked enough about Franz Wagner. 37 points, 13 for 19 shooting, 4 for 6 from 3, 7 for 7 from the foul line, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. This was as complete a performance. This was really the first all-star Franz performance that we've seen. And he scored 23 of his 37 in the first half, so you could complain that he was, again, first half Franz, but he needed all of those points to counteract Jalen Brunson and kind of keep the team in the game. I think early on, the Magic really struggled. They were down 15-5 right off the bat. And a lot of that was because the Knicks played big. And I think the Magic tend to struggle with teams that play big. They put Mitchell Robinson on Franz Wagner, just hoping his size would bug him. And look, it did. I think Franz was hesitant to figure out how to attack and get to the paint because there's just a lot of size. Usually the Magic have a size advantage. They didn't really have a size advantage in this game. But then Franz started to figure out like, oh, I got Mitchell Robinson on the perimeter. I can get by him. He can't stay in front of me. And the Magic were able to kind of manipulate the defense to get the matchups that they wanted and attack downhill. Franz, who's been struggling a little bit with his shots in the key, made all those shots today. Made his layups, made his floaters, made all those shots. And that opens everything else up for him and opens everything else up for this team. To the point where, like, yes, he was making threes. And Orlando made 13 of 33 threes. New York was 13 for 37. So the threes were a wash. New York was 5 for 10 on threes in the first quarter. That was a big reason they were able to stay in the lead and stay in the game. But the Magic took over from there. The Magic just completely took over from there. And Franz was like the engine that drove it. Now, again, Orlando gets to the line a lot. 26 for 30 from the line. New York, 22 for 28. So Orlando, again, all these things were a wash in the end. And it just came down to like, okay, Orlando got a few more offensive rebounds. They forced a bunch more turnovers. They took 6 more shots, 2 more free throw attempts. They forced 17 turnovers for 18 points. New York had 14 off Orlando's 14 turnovers. Orlando had 5 of those in the first quarter. Orlando ended up being the more precise team in the end. But Franz was like the engine that just kind of kept them going and kept them afloat until everybody else caught up. And that's not to say like Franz wasn't good in the second half. Like he scored in that 13-0 run, he scored, I think he had 7 points in the fourth quarter. He scored all 7 of those points during that run. Or he scored 5 of his 7 points during that 13-0 run and then hit another big shot later in the game. Franz was dealing it. Like no other way around. He was dealing. And again, just does what a star does. Team needed him to do more. He did more. A really impressive game from Franz Wagner. Orlando also got 27 from Desmond Bane, though. 8 for 16 shooting, 3 for 7 from 3, 8 for 8 from the foul line, 5 assists against 2 turnovers. Again, Desmond Bane has gotten really comfortable in his role right here. And, you know, I think the biggest thing we're all eager for is when Paolo gets back, Desmond Bane should get more spot up threes. But Desmond Bane is starting to feel comfortable enough to take all the sort of Desmond Bane shots we expected. Those pull-up threes, those kind of step-in threes, those, you know, attacks to the basket into short jumpers. You know, the Magic have leaned a little bit too much into his playmaking, but look, he is delivering on that end. He is delivering the playmaking that the Magic have wanted. And that is, again, like the Magic just, everything's flowing and working. The ball is just zipping and moving. Orlando ended with 28 assists. They had 10 in the first half, 18 in the second half, 28 assists on 47 field goals. And again, New York matched them 28 for 43. I think they had 15 in the first half. So Orlando's defense did tighten up in the second half. They gave up 55 points, but the defense did tighten up. And again, tightened up certainly at a key juncture where the Magic could kind of build some breathing room and get some space between them because New York wasn't stopping Orlando all game. And that's a credit to Desmond Bane, just as much as a credit to Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs had 26 points, 8 for 15 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3, 8 for 9 from the foul line. Only 1 assist, did have 4 turnovers. Jalen Suggs is going to make some mistakes. But similarly, like Jalen Suggs understood when to have energy, when to attack the basket, when to get downhill, and was finishing really well at the rim. And again, like the fact that he had a dunk is huge. And one of his threes was a big 3 during the 13-0 run. Like whatever ups and downs he has, he makes key plays when they need to happen. And like, he said he's kind of starting to pick his spots when to be a little more chaotic, when to kind of hit his chaos levels to 11. But he understands when he needs to do those plays. When the crowd's rising, when the team needs the chaos, he understands better now how to bring that chaos. So really, really nice game from him. Anthony Black was outstanding. Like, this is the best run of Anthony Black's career. Like, he is looking so much more confident, so much more aggressive, so much more, his ability on the ball to attack and knowing when to attack is just significantly better. And every success seems to be building on itself right now. I will admit, I am a bit of an Anthony Black doubter. I will admit that I like the kid a lot. I think he is extremely talented, but like so many on the team, like I just want to see consistency and I want to see him be aggressive. And I would say like Anthony Black, I honestly, I still don't think he understands how good he can be. He's just kind of a quiet kid. And I love AB. AB is just a great dude. I love chilling with him in the locker room and shooting the shit with him. Sorry for cursing there. He's just really, really cool. But you want to bring out the little nastiness out of him sometimes. He is starting to find that more consistently. He's starting to really kind of build his identity and build himself up. And that's like, this is astounding to watch. Again, 11 points, 4 for 8 shooting, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. So 4 stocks, 1 turnover. He did a lot of work on Jalen Brunson. He bothered Jalen Brunson a lot with his size. And he was super disciplined for much of the game. That's a huge thing for the Magic to have another guy that you could throw at a guy like Jalen Brunson. And again, just the size. Like Jalen Suggs is a big guy, but Anthony Black just has so much more size. A really, really impressive game from Anthony Black. I mentioned earlier, Goga Bitadze, Jonathan Isaac each had 6 points, 7 rebounds, both 2-5 offensive defensive rebound splits, both super impactful in their minutes. I want to give Jett Howard some love. He had 5 points on 2 for 3 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3. Magic didn't win his minutes, but I thought he is continuing to put up productive minutes and not be as much of, and frankly, this is backhand compliment, not be as much of a liability. I think he's really worked on his defense. It's gotten better. There's still work to do, but Jett Howard looks more comfortable in his minutes and is contributing far more often than he's not. The Orlando Magic again shoot 55.3% from the floor, 13 for 33 from 3, 26 for 30 from the foul line. New York gets 33 points from Jalen Brunson. Again, 23 of those in the first half. Karl-Anthony Towns scores 24, only 2 for 6 from 3. Mikal Bridges has 18. Jordan Clarkson, 15 off the bench. Josh Hart, 12 off the bench before he fouled out. But overall, like, the Magic were just able to put this thing together. Like the box score makes this feel like a much closer game than it was. And that is a credit to the Magic because they put the run together that gave them some breathing room in a game where there just wasn't much defense being played. Orlando played defense longer than New York. They were able to kind of find that groove, get those stops, build a cushion, and win the game. And ultimately, that's all anyone's going to care about is, did you win the game? The Magic won this game. Plenty to build on, plenty to improve on, but a real, real nice win for Orlando where they looked like a championship team. They did what championship teams do to put to bed another very, very good team. Again, say what you want about this particular Knicks team and who they had available. The Magic put them away, and it was really, really nice to see. The Magic defeat the Knicks 133-121. They are back in action on Sunday at Boston against the Boston Celtics. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the films you see on the podcast to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can find us as well on YouTube. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, go check out the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, all part of Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We will be back tomorrow to break down the Orlando Magic's game against the Boston Celtics, see if the Magic can pull off a very difficult back-to-back. Yes, I'm setting you up for disappointment already, but a very difficult back-to-back. Nonetheless, we'll see if the Magic can beat the Celtics and take control of that season series. They don't play Boston until the very end of the season, last game of the season in Boston. So kind of a big one, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. But certainly heading into 2 critical NBA Cup games would be nice to be on a little bit of to continue this win streak. But we'll get to that tomorrow. Until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.